Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? Hope you're well. Go grab a cup of coffee. We're going to be talking about fighting today, and I want to start off by asking you, are you flash or are you bang? Well, most people are a mixture of the two. The important thing to discover is whether, and not everybody. I mean, there are people who are all bang and no flash, and there are plenty of people who are all flash and no bang, but the the percentage there is important. So we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be reading you a story of a mixed martial arts fight that is going to illustrate the entire lesson here. Before we get into that, I want to remind anybody, by the way, welcome to all the new people who have been joining recently. It's great to have you here. We are a community of people interested in preparedness and in learning about preparedness, about getting more prepared. And if you're with us now, it's great to have you. I do want to establish this, that we are a polite and respectful community here. I had to take a couple of people off the other day because I saw in the comments that they had been disparaging against other commenters, and that doesn't go. I don't allow that. You come onto my channel. If you're rude, you're gone. It's like you come into my house, you're rude, you're gone. So anyway, if you're here now, you should feel that you're comfortable being here, and it's great to have you. Just a reminder before we get started that all of my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stone Mount series, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. It is the complete collection of books. Well, Steve, but aren't you writing another one? Yes, I am. I'm halfway through the 7th one. Then how can this be complete? Polite. I say that it's a complete plan on how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after the collapse of everything. And if you're truly interested in preparedness and you haven't read these books, you need to. Hundreds of thousands of people have been learning from these books since 2017. And I get letters and comments and emails and everything from people telling me how much they've learned. I have people who have read the complete set 5 times through and say they continue to learn things that they missed the first 4 times through. It's a great story with the lessons that will help you a lot. A story that you'll love. It's about good people. It's about good people who are prepared, who came together and rebuilt a community, a society along the lines that most of us think our country, our world ought to operate by. So those are available both on Amazon or through my website, stonemont.us. The links are down below. Amazon, either paperback or Kindle, and you can get autographed copies from me through the Stonemont US website. There's a place for you to say, what would you like Steve to write in your book? And just tell me. And I'm happy to do it. Okay. What probably most of you don't know is when some of you know that I taught martial arts for a long time. Way back around the year 2000, something like that, there was a big movement trying to get a mixed martial arts system called Pancreation. It was a sport. Pancreation back into the Olympics. It was the original Greek. It wasn't part of the original ancient Olympics, but it was added shortly thereafter. I believe wrestling was the first, and as far as a combat martial art, and then boxing, and Pancreation came along later on. But it was the granddaddy of all mixed martial arts competitions. And back around the year 2000, there was a movement here in the United States through some people that I knew who had contacts in Greece. They were trying to get Pancreation back into the Olympics in the 2004 Olympics. I became a part of that. I soon realized that the people who were running it were lying to the people, and so I split off and I established and I ran the World Pancreation Federation. I soon Our organization soon became recognized by the International Olympic Committee as not a recognized, it wasn't in the Olympics, but as they recognized my organization as the preeminent Pancreation organization in the world. Now there was a guy, I want to give full credit here to somebody, and most of you won't care about this little input, this little tidbit, but it is important. I want to give full credit to a guy by the name of Jim Arvanitis, who he wrote some books years ago, and he was really the guy that reinstituted and kept alive the idea and the art and the sport of pancreation. I never met Jim. He invited me down many years ago to his place in Florida. I wasn't able to make it, but I wanted to throw that out because so often people don't know the truth behind things. They hear they see the flash and they don't know the bang, right? So anyway, I became, after dealing a little bit with the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, I realized how corrupt they were, and I left. However, I want to tell you the story of a fight. This was written in the Pitch Weekly, which was an alternative magazine put out in Kansas City many years ago. That's one of my kids on the front there. I say kids, my students. Second generation student. He was a student of of mine. I won't say his name on here. He later went on after he later joined the Marines and went into recon and really got messed up. So anyway, I'm gonna head. We're gonna talk about. Oh, you want to see a picture of me here before I read this? I don't know if this will show up or not. There's a picture of me hitting somebody in the head. Okay, like that. All right. Okay, I'm going to read this, and you are going to see the lesson. I think you'll enjoy the story. It's a well-written article. This was back in 2002, and it was written by who is it? Casey Logan was the guy's name who wrote this. I'll give him full credit. Okay, so this was about a tournament that we had down at the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. And the kid they're going to be talking about here is another second generation student of mine, meaning he was a student of one of my first generation students. Okay, let's start off it. The kid in the black pants looks scared, like he signed up for a thumb war and suddenly finds himself at Gallipoli. The kid is big, about 210 pounds at 20 years old, but it's his young eyes that seem to carry most of that weight right now. Of the 16 competitors in this World Pancreation Federation Midwest Open Tournament, he's drawn a guy who seems capable of decapitation by uppercut. The broad, chiseled freak, sporting a tight black stretch shirt, has been roaming the tournament mat all afternoon, shifting from one foot to the other and throwing jabs in the air. He looks bearish. So the kid in black pants, his name, for the sake of his obituary, is Matt Hoff. That's my kid. Lingers near the scorer's table as his match approaches. He slips on a white karate jacket and lightly padded fingerless gloves. Then headgear, that's what we wore back then. We did wear tunics. Okay. This was at the time the UFC was very young, and some of the UFC guys came over and were a part of us for a while. So they're fighting with gis. He lumbers out onto the mat at the center of the old Rothwell Gymnasium in Columbia, Missouri, where when Hoff glances back toward his corner, he looks certain of nothing. On the mat, the two opponents are instructed by a referee to salute one another, a martial arts formality. But when the fighting begins, they engage in something vastly more fierce than modern-day karate or taekwondo. For one, there are headshots, brutal, rocking punches that sound particularly nasty against the headgear. There are kicks, too. Headgear had to be worn in amateur fights in Missouri at that time. We got away from that later, but that's another story. There are kicks, too, and wrestling, and dangerous submission holds, and pretty much anything else two guys might do to each other in an alley fight, short of biting or pulverizing one another's groin space. From the moment the referee shouts start, Hoff is in trouble. First, he gets tackled, which is not a good thing. He lies on his back and receives blow after blow to his head. The muscle man straddles Hoff's chest, slams his fists into his headgear, and then, in a flash, locks Hoff's right arm at the elbow and wrist. And we continue. And maneuvers into a perfect submission move from which Hoff can't escape without injury. The referee awards 15 points, and the two begin again at the center mat. This was done. This was at a time that our rules went by points. Okay, so later on I changed it so it had to be a knockout or submission, but at this point it was still done by points, because that was in line with what they were trying to get into the Olympics. Matt Hoff's next few minutes go like this. He's tackled, he gets up, then he's tackled again. He's on his back, staring straight into his opponent's fist, which is headed Hoff's way, quickly. After a few punches, he struggles to his feet, only to get a kick in the stomach. A knee lands squarely in his face. He's getting his ass kicked. But as the two break and return to center mat time and again, a pattern emerges. Hoff moves more quickly. His opponent takes longer and longer. After another takedown leads them out of bounds, the muscle man looks like he's the one taking a beating. This time, when the referee instructs them to start again, Hoff pounces. He jabs a few times, then tackles his opponent and drives him to the mat, where he delivers a few headshots of his own. His supporters, standing and seated in metal folding chairs at the side of the mat, come alive. Take him. Keep him down. Attaboy. Yeah. When the two fighters cross the out-of-bounds line, Hoff again collects himself faster than his opponent. At the next start, the muscle man scores a takedown, which Hoff almost immediately reverses. Again, they move out of bounds, and this time the muscle man rises as if he's been stirred from a long, sedated sleep. He puts his hands on his knees, then on top of his head before bending over again and putting them back on his knees. Hoff, meanwhile, leaps back to the center mat. At the next start, Hoff takes down his man and works into position to choke him out. The idea is to get his opponent into a headlock that will shut off blood to the brain. Hoff squeezes his biceps under the opponent's chin, and after a few seconds, the muscle man taps the mat, signaling for a break. So he's submitted. As Hoff jumps to his feet, his exhausted opponent can barely get up. When he does rise, now at this point, that was also a point situation. Later I got to, just go on to a submission. As Hoff jumps to his feet, his exhausted opponent, the guy who was so flashy, can barely get up. When he does rise, he limps a bit to the left, stops, then tells the referee that he's had enough. He withdraws. That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. In the world, many of you are experiencing this. Some of you aren't. And you know the difference between the talkers and the doers. The all flash and with a little bang and the little flash with a big bang, right? We see that in so many things. We see that in a fight. We see that in life. Okay, there's a lot of big talkers in life, and we see that in preparedness. We see that in the Patriot movement. We see the guys that are always talking about rah. When I've taught people, I've trained people on things for, almost 50 years. A lot of different things. And I've always told them that there's only two parts to any job. The first part is to start. That's where a lot of people have a big problem. And the reason that they have a hard time starting is because they talk about it so much. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And the reason that many times talk is the enemy of the do is because people they vent They're, whether it's a desire or whatever, they vent and they throw this out there into the cosmos, and they confuse talking about it with doing it. The real doers rarely talk much about it. They realize that the it's the doing, not the talking, that's going to achieve the goal. And so that's why, if you talk too much, if you flash, you never get down to the doing. So the first part of any job, doesn't matter what it is, job or goal in life, whatever it is start. You got to start. The second part, you keep going until the job is done. That's all there is to it. You keep going until the job is done. Now, those are the only two decisions a successful person makes. And there will be some who will say, motivational speakers and these guys who love to motivate. And I don't believe in motivation. I do not believe in external motivation. Okay? All true motivation comes from within. If it comes from outside, it's coercion, it's something. It's manipulation. Okay? And people who rely on that don't internalize it. They're doing it in response to external forces. Real motivation comes from within. So when a person decides that they're going to do it, when a person who is going to be successful decides they're going to do it, that's the only decision they make. Okay, I know I'm backing up. I had to rewind. There will be those who love the motivational speakers say, and every day you have to make that decision. Every day you have to make that decision. Every time you do, I heard somebody, I don't even remember who it was. Everything that you do, every battle that you win, every decision that you make, not to eat the Twinkie or to do this or to do that, it is a triumph. It's a success. It's a win. It's all that. I don't agree with that. And I've been training people for a long time, and I've done a lot, and most of which I don't even talk about, so people don't know. Doesn't matter. The truth is in the words. The one who's really usually going to be successful does not make those daily decisions. They make two decisions. They decide to start, and they decide to continue until whatever it is gets done. After they've made that second decision, they are not constantly redeciding. Because of what that means? That means that they are having to make a decision that they already made, which means that their first decision had no power behind it. It had no strength behind it. If you decide to do something, why are you continuing to having to decide to do it? Okay? That means you're doubting. You're going, well, should I do it? Should I not do it? Wait a minute. You already decided you were going to do it. What's this BS about should I do it? Should I not do it? I thought you said you were going to do it. So do it. That's all it is. In preparedness, what that means is you decide to do it. Do it. Do it until the job is done. When's the job done? Never. Because you'll keep getting better. You'll keep getting more prepared. Here's where it comes in when people say, and these are failures. These are mental failures. That will offend some people. I don't care. The people that it offends are weak people. And I'm here to help those people, either to talk to those people who are not weak people, or to help those people who just need a little bit of direction, who are not weak people themselves, but maybe just haven't thought about this stuff. Okay, those of us who train other people to do things, we think about stuff that the normal person doesn't think about. That's why we have these things to share. But the person that says you can't be fully prepared, okay, that's a weak person. That's a weak individual. That's a person that says they can't do it. Okay? That's the decision they've made. Do you see that? The success makes two choices. Get started and keep going until the job's done. The other person is constantly making choices. Choices, 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 choices. Which means that their first choice wasn't a choice. It was just, it was flash. It was the guy, posing before the match. That's what it is. There's our morning motorcycle guy. And these are the people who are constantly, what it stems for is they don't have a solid idea of what they want to do. They don't have faith in themselves. They don't have an understanding of the importance of the situation. So they really don't. They're like a little pinball. They're bouncing all around. Always willing to take the exit, right? Always looking for the next exit that they can find a good enough excuse to stop doing what they said they were going to do. Well, see, if they said they were going to do it and they don't do it, are they talkers or are they doers? Well, they're talkers. But I didn't know how hard it was going to be. Well, it's another thing that I used to tell people that I would train when they said, "Oh, this is hard." I said, "Okay, stop. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't care. It nothing to me. It's hard. Okay. Do it or don't do it. It's hard. Stop. Don't do it. I don't care. You want to fail at what you said you were gonna do? That's your business. It's your life. It's not my life. Okay. I am not here to motivate anybody, because then they have to rely on me. See, I have to be there all the time. You can do it. You can do it. Well, no. If it takes me saying that to a person to make them do something, they can't do it. Okay. What it means is I can do it. I can keep saying you can do it. You can do it until they do it. You see how that's false? You see the falsity of that? False motivation. And yet we live in a world where motivation is so, motivation. Great t-shirts, motivation. I'm motivated. Well, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. In preparedness, it is a potential. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be preparedness. Anything in your life, you'll be pretty much able to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish and whatever you're willing to put the work into. Okay? And unless you're a rock dumb individual, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Whatever your motivation and hard work will get you, but not my. You can do it. So in preparedness, we have there are a lot of people who share with me that it's hard sometimes. They go in fits and starts. It's hard to keep their momentum. It's hard to keep their focus at times. They sometimes feel like it's just all for nothing. Well, they're failing in one of those two decisions. Either they don't understand the importance of what they're doing in preparedness, or they doubt their ability to do it, and which means they doubt their strength to do it. They doubt their resolve to do it, because it has nothing to do with anyone else. It doesn't matter what your wife thinks about it. It doesn't matter what your husband thinks about it. It doesn't matter what the people that you know do about it. If you have made the decision, if you have come to the responsible understanding that preparedness is important in a world as crazy as ours, and you trust yourself and you trust your opinion, then your choice to do it is the last choice you have to make. You just keep doing it. And you know what? Another thing that I always tell people that I train, I say, you are guaranteed the effects of the causes you choose. You know, cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. You choose the right cause, and the effects are going to be the effects you want. But then if, you know, doubt, whatever gets in there, laziness, whatever, I don't have the money, I can't afford it, go make more money. But you don't understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand that quadriplegics who learn to paint with their mouths make a living. That's what I understand. And I understand that pretty much anybody out there who doesn't do what they say they want to do is lying to themselves and everybody else, because they don't want to. They just want to talk about it. So, think about that. Remember this kid, Mr. Flash. Mr. Flash, he was so scary. He came out there, he was showing the world, right? He was styling, he was showing. All show, no go. Well, he went for a little bit. But the Flash gives out after a while. The Flash gives out. Only the bang remains. So, think about that. You know, how much flash you got in you and how much bang you got in you. And if you have any flash, get rid of it. Get rid of it, because you want to be all bang. Okay? It's not a matter. You don't go through the world, you know, big talk. Big talk. You want to be bang when the time for bang comes. Right? Okay. Remember that this and all my videos are brought to you by my books. Why do I advertise them? Because I want to sell them. I wrote them. I love them. People love them. They learn from them. I want you to learn from them too, and you'll love the story. Become a stone modder. The links are down there below, both either through Amazon or through me directly. I sold out of books again. You guys are just, I mean, the books are just flying off the shelf. So, but the next order's coming in later this week. So those of you who have ordered the last few days, don't worry, they're coming. And that's the best way to order, really, is through the website stonemont.us, because I love having that relationship with my readers. So order those. The t-shirts will be probably available later this week. The Stonemont t-shirts and the Stonemont mugs are coming too, guys. And American Reversion mugs. I just have been designing those, and they're beautiful. You're gonna love them. I love them, even though I designed them. I won't hide in false modesty. I think you're gonna love them. So, flash or bang. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Preparing well, 2 steps. Get started, keep going till it's done, and preparedness is never done, so that you can live well tomorrow, so that you're not the flash which goes away. You're the bang that stays there. All right? You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.